Welcome to the mom room, Brittany.
Thank you so much for having me.
It is Friday morning, and honestly, okay, so this is the third interview. It's not really an interview, it's like a chat, whatever, since I relaunched the podcast. And I was like, this is so much better. My goal for the relaunch was like, I just want to talk to people that I want to talk to and like have a conversation. Like, I don't want to be like, so what was your inspiration for the, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really hard. It's hard to have structure without actually having structure. So I commend you.
Yes. So anyways, how's your Friday going so far?
It's going great. It's Friday. Just dropped the kids off in Narnia. And now I'm back home.
Yeah, but like, where did you drop them off? Because it's like 10 a.m.
So we leave the house at like 7:50. So their new school is about 40. Oh my God.
What?
That is the biggest spider I've ever seen in my life. I'm so sorry. I'm going to take a picture of this and you're going to clip it in because it's
okay.
Sorry.
Do you have to go kill it?
No, I'm not going to kill it. Are you kidding?
So what are you going to do? Let it just live?
I mean, it's her house now.
You're like,
I'm like, what can I do to make you more comfortable? Holy shit. Maybe she's pregnant. Okay.
Do the new owners have to know about this?
Do I have to disclose this?
Yeah. Like, there's an entity in the home.
I have another guess. I actually don't kill spiders. I put them outside. I can't kill them.
So how do you capture them?
I just put them in like a little Tupperware container and then I put them outside and I say, be free. I know.
Until they show up in your house again?
But then they remember me. They're like, this bitch let me live, you know? So they don't.
You think?
They do not mess with me. I've yet to.
After book club, so we just met for book club on Tuesday. Yes. I came home and I was already so spooked out because there's something about book club. We always end up talking about scary shit.
No.
Yes, we do.
What did we talk about?
We talked about like all the scary movies that you were recommending and like the stories of the scary movies. And I was like, oh my God, this is so creepy. And then when we left your house, it was pouring rain, pitch black. Yes. And we're going through all these like side roads. And Kayla and I were like, I missed a turn and there was like a railroad track. And Kayla's like, we're dying. Like, this is where we die. Yeah.
I didn't know that you were so spooked. Like, I didn't.
So spooked. And then the whole way home, Kayla was telling me about aliens. And how, like, aliens are, like, legit. And so I was texting my husband, like, I'm coming home now, but I'm really scared. He's like, okay. And then there was a spider on my ceiling right above my bed when I got home.
Dude, nothing on this spider. You're going to die.
Okay, but, like, how big is the body of the spider?
I'm literally going to show you. I'm going to take you
show me.
I'm going to take you over. I'm putting my mic down. Like, that is, you don't even understand how big it is. I've never seen a spider bigger than this in my whole life.
Is it in your house or outside?
It's outside.
Oh, okay.
Like, it's insane. Oh my God, it's so creepy. Okay, anyways, they go to school 40 minutes away, and I drive them there and come back because I wanted them to start the school year because we're moving.
Oh, okay.
So I just didn't want them to have to switch schools in the middle of the school year, right? So
right. And how are they liking the new school?
Cooper's fine. Riley is okay. Like, it's harder for her. She's older, right? So I mean, I think it's harder now because we're still in between. Like, we're here, so she has her friends here, but then like she can't fully commit over there. So anyways, I'm just looking forward to not driving. It's also like straight back roads, and every day I have so much anxiety because there's about two-way stops, and I just have like catastrophic visions of like people not stopping. I feel like we need to petition to get rid of two-way stops. I think they're useless. I think they should all be four-way.
Yeah. No, 100% agree. We have driven back roads so much because we lived near Orangeville. Yeah. Like surrounded by like farms and stuff. And I was always driving on back roads to bring Milo to daycare. And same thing. If it's not that, it's animals. Like, I'm afraid of animals.
I know. I saw a dead kitty the other day. I know. I was like, the kids were like, what? I'm like, nothing.
Yeah.
Because they would be like, why did you say that?
I remember one time running over, and like, this is not my fault. Like, guys, I try and stop. Like, I will cause an accident trying to like not hit a squirrel. I swear to God. But anyways, Milo was little and we were driving on back roads, and like a fucking, I don't know what you call, like a gaggle of rabbits Like, what do you call like a big bunch of rabbits, you know?
I don't know, but I'm now going to be calling them a gaggle. So.
A gaggle, like something. They just ran across the road and all you could hear was like thump, 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 like under the car. And I was like, oh my God. And Milo's like, did we hit the bunnies? Did we run over the bunnies? I'm like, no.
You're like, no, Mommy just hit a speed bump. I didn't know. Oh my God, a whole family.
Oh, stop. No.
Oh no. Well, at least they all died together, right? Like you didn't orphan any bunnies. You didn't orphan any of them.
I hope not.
So
anyways, moving on to something not as depressing. I want to know your story of becoming a content creator and what you were doing before and how this all kind of happened.
Okay. I had just had Cooper. So I was on mat leave and I was bored. To be completely honest, I was really bored.
So this would have been like 2018-ish?
Yeah, 2018.
Okay.
I had a whole other Instagram account that was like private that I still have, and I just keep it because there's cute videos of the kids. And I was really bored, and so I was like, you know what? I'm going to take up like hand lettering and like calligraphy because why not? So I learned that and then was like, started my own business called Ostofe Sign Co. and just started doing like hand lettering signs, and then like moved into weddings and like did wedding signs and like seating charts, and I loved it. It was really fun. And while I was doing that, I opened up a second account called like Ostofe Co. or something. I don't even know. And I still like didn't really understand Instagram. Like I followed like influencers and stuff, but they were like, you know, when Instagram first came out and it was like those influencers were like living in like huge mansions and they were like, not attainable and just not like they
posing in front of like Lamborghinis.
Yes, like, yes. I was like, they're celebrities, they're not real people. And so I kind of like jumped on stories and started like showing my hand lettering, but also mixing in like motherhood and stuff because that's what I was going through in my life. And it started like growing authentically. And I had booked a gig or something at a market to sell my signs. And I was so excited. And so many people had come and like a lot of them didn't buy any signs. They were just coming to chat to me about motherhood. And I was like, this is so cool. They did buy signs. I don't know if they really wanted them, but that's fine. But it was just like a really fun, like little connection piece. And so I kind of like stopped doing my signs and kind of leaned more into like the motherhood authenticity of it all. Because again, we were in an era of like Pinterest moms and like curated spaces, and I felt very lonely, and I was like, this is not an accurate representation of motherhood or marriage. I'm like, where is the bullshit? Like it's not that I was like dragging, I loved being a mom. It's I absolutely love it. It was just hard, and no one was really talking about how hard it was. So I would like make skits and stuff, and then as you grow, you get people who don't like you. So it's crazy how that works.
I've never experienced such a thing.
It's so bizarre. So I get a lot of, not nice messages. And because I am like self-deprecating to a absolute T, like I would turn everything into a joke. Because it's just easier for me to deal with it. And it didn't allow it to like truly affect me. So I started making skits, and I called them Trolling Tuesdays, and I just pretended to be the trolls. By the way, I watched one of them like recently, and I am low-key mortified. Like, it looks like I filmed it on like a Nokia flip phone. The editing is atrocious. Like, it's so bad. Anyway, and then what kind of catapulted me was Sarah. Like, Burst Papaya shared one of my Trolling Tuesdays. Yeah, and everyone was like, oh my God, the Burst Papaya shared your thing. And I was like, who is that? Like, I didn't know anything. And yeah, she kind of just like blew that up for me, and people started coming. And then I stopped doing my signs, leaned more into this. And then I was also teaching at the time. I was teaching high school, and I was also a curriculum director for an art company. So I kind of just juggled all the things.
And so when did you stop teaching and working the other job?
So I had been a teacher up until I was pregnant. Like, I had Coop, and then I was doing like quasi supplying, and like my mat leave was coming up, and I had like full blown anxiety. I was like, I do not want to go back to work. I absolutely hated teaching. Like, I would come home and Ryan was like, who are you? And it was so sad because I've always wanted to be a teacher. But that's like a whole other thing. It's just the public school system is not what it used to be, let's just say. And I was teaching high school, so the parents, it was a lot. So I just said no, and I have an incredible husband who said, listen, I love you so much, but you have your hands and your feet in way too many fucking baskets. You have to pick something and like do that. And I was like, well, what if it doesn't work out? And he was like, it's fine, we'll figure it out. And so yeah, I went full throttle Instagram, didn't make zero. Wow. My first day with words. I didn't make a penny for like 2 years. I made nothing. Like I do like products in exchange for whatever, and I didn't really care. I had another job, like I was a curriculum director, and I still do that part-time as a consultant, but like I didn't make any money, and it was terrifying, and we were tight for a while. And then, you just kind of got to trust yourself, and we ended up being able to monetize and work with some incredible brands. So that's where we are now.
So does Ryan work full-time in the other businesses that you guys have, or does he have a separate outside of the house job?
Yeah, he owns a freight brokerage. So he works full-time from home. So we both work from home. Don't recommend. Like, it's just a lot. Like, when your house is your office and both of you are there. He works full-time here as the freight broker, at the freight brokerage. So he trains a bunch of people, a bunch of freight brokers, and then they do their thing. He loves it. And then we run a media company as well.
What's a freight broker?
So like, he basically connects like a carrier who has to ship an item.
Oh, okay.
So like he's like the middleman. So like a customer is like, I need these 6,000 bananas to go over here. Who do I call? Ryan's like, Ghostbusters. And
I was just thinking that in my head. I was like, yes. Ghostbusters.
So he'll find the best rate for the customer and then track the laneway, make sure it arrives where it arrives so they don't have to deal with the headache. So that's what Ryan does. And then Ryan trains sales guys to have their own business. So he kind of just like helps and manages everybody under his umbrella.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. I always wondered that, like, what
it's so
Ryan
exciting.
did. So, I was like, what does this guy do?
Low-key, it's wild because so many trailers are stolen and like cops are involved and like it's
from transport trucks.
It's a wild, wild west out there. Like the stuff that Ryan deals with is crazy. Like people steal full-blown trailers all the time. Like it's wild. It's wild, wild. Yeah.
Holy. Mm-hmm. We need a freight brokerage documentary. Netflix series.
Can you imagine? No, we'd be canceled in a second.
I totally forgot. I wanted to text my mom this morning and be like, Mom, I'm going to be podcasting with Brittany. Like, do you have any questions for her? Because every time I see my mom, like I show up at her house, I'm like, hi, like haven't seen you in so long. She's like, did you see what Brittany did with like the ghosts and the clay and the like that? She's so talented. She's so talented. I'm like, okay, it's nice to see you.
Yeah, you're like, Mom, would you like to go out for lunch?
Yeah.
Oh, she's so sweet. That's so nice.
Were you, like, with regard to content, and obviously you love doing art and, like, you're so talented at it, did you struggle with including that in your content? Because, like, you grew on motherhood stuff. People,
right,
expected a certain thing from you, and then introducing art into it. Like, do you struggle with that part of it, or are you just like, no, I'm going to make what I want to make? And
I think like at first I did, because when I first started, everyone was like, you need a niche, and you gotta stay in your lane. I'm like, fuck the lane. Like this is my page. I want to do what I want on my page.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely niched in, like, I would say humor. Like people, when I put content out and if it's not humor based, people are like, this is stupid.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what do you mean? I made this painting. No, I did. That was hard for me at first because I was like, I don't want to just be one thing. Like, I do feel like my page is like, I have multiple personalities on my page depending on what I want to do. But that's why I kind of like it. Like, I don't know, people might not like that. They just never know what they're going to get when I feel it. But I think I've been in this space long enough that I can afford to kind of just be authentic in what I want to post. Like when I first started, like you do kind of have to like figure your shit out because you want if your goal is to grow your platform, people need to count, like they want to come to you for something specific. If somebody started following you for this and you start going over here, they're going to be like, what the hell? Mm-hmm. So as you grow, I think that you just need to be intentional. Like if this is something you want to do a lot of that. And if you want to sprinkle this in, see how that goes. So I definitely do sprinkle my art in, but I think for me, like I'm always doing something art wise, whether that's like painting or like doing a craft or like DIYing or like makeup. Like I feel like that's all in the realm of artistic creativity. So I don't particularly struggle with it as much as I used to, because I've just really come to a point in my career where I will post what I want to post, regardless if people like it or not. Like it makes me happy. So I'm post it.
So how do you guys manage, because you guys have the Laughing Couple account, which has a specific kind of content, and then you have your personal page. It's kind of like what I have with the Mom Room page and then my personal page. And I'm just like,
it's a lot.
It took a while for me to learn how to separate the two, and I'm still like learning. I'm still trying to figure out like what the hell is going on with TikTok, like what, like I don't know what to do anymore. But for me, I always look at what other people are doing, and my biggest problem is that I want to do what everybody else is doing, because like I like it. So if I enjoy consuming something, I want to do the same thing.
Yeah.
And I need to be like, Renee, just because you like something that somebody else is doing doesn't mean you have to do that.
Sure. Mm-hmm. It's hard. Like, it's hard not to compare or like be inspired by. Like, I think I really like fashion. Like I find myself, I'm also cheap as fuck. So like, I really like a good deal. Like if I'm ever wearing something and someone's like, where'd you get that? I feel like it's to a fault that I'm like, I have to tell them how inexpensive it was. Like, I can't just be like, thank you. I have to be like, it was $4. Like, it doesn't matter. And so I feel like I really like putting together like outfits that are inexpensive, but also like as we've gotten older, I've mixed and understood that you can like invest in good pieces. But anytime I make fashion content, Instagram is like, you're a joke. What are you doing? This is not for you. Like, you need to redirect. Like, no. So I totally get what you're saying. It's so hard to like just be here and not try to do what everyone else is doing. Even if it's like super successful and you enjoy it, maybe it's just not for you. Mm-hmm. This is not for you. You're having it a bit harder though, because you are the predominant person in both of your accounts.
Yes.
So that is a hard thing to separate, because how do you differentiate when you are the main person? So yeah, would be a struggle for you. It's easier for us because Ryan, we are like the Laughing Couple, and it's more like couple-based humor.
Right.
Where like mine is more like solo, or like sometimes with the kids, or like my art or whatever. Like it's way easier for me. It's way harder for you. I don't even know how you're doing it, to be honest.
I don't either. I'm just like,
you need to have like an alter ego.
No, I always think like, I wish I had a career counselor, just specifically for this line of work, but it doesn't exist,
Yeah, I know. I feel like they do exist, but I would just be a little hesitant on like what advice they would be giving.
Yeah, 100%.
It's just such a vague little space that we're in.
Okay, speaking of your kids on social media, let's talk about that a little bit, because it is a hot topic. I have gone from, initially Milo was in like almost all my content when I first started out on TikTok, because I was in quarantine with him, and that's just how I started making content. Then this whole thing came about, like all the content and the creators that are like, people are exploiting their kids, like kids shouldn't be online. And I was like all the dangers of it. And I was like, Jesus Christ. Like, so then I don't show him very much anymore. If he like pops up in stories organically, or if he's going to be in like a piece of content, that's fine. Like, but I don't even know where I stand. Like I have these conversations with people, and I'm just like, honestly, one day I can be like, I'm deleting everything he's ever had online. And then the next day I'll be like, Milo, you want to start a YouTube channel? Like I go back and forth.
I know. It's, I'm the same way. I mean, I think it's because my kids, how old is Milo?
6.
Yeah, so same age as Coop. am way more cognitively aware of Riley because she's older.
Yeah.
And I no longer, like, anytime I have her in stories or whatever, first say, can I film you doing this? Or if I'm filming organically, I will say, can I post this? And she gives me permission. Which I do think is very important because she's old enough to now, like, see and feel societal pressures, which is so sad. But, like, I want to give her that space. Cooper, I am emulating the same things for him just because I don't want him, like, I'll be like, is this okay, like, that I'm posting? And he'll be like, yeah, like, he doesn't really know, but I want him to know that it's important that I ask. You know what I mean? And then anytime I have them in, like, branded content, I always ask them first. And there are times where they say, no, I don't want to do this. And I'm like, no problem. And I say, I don't sign the contract. Like, I'm not working with the brand. I never want my kids to feel like they have to do this for me. And then additionally, if they're in content, we pay them. And, like, that's weird for people, but we pay them. And now that looks like actual money. And it's also allowed us to say, you are, like, so they're allowed to save their money. They have to save, I think we said 50%, or maybe we said it was a bit less. 50% of what we pay them, they cannot touch. They have to save it. And then the other 50%, they can choose to buy something that they want, or they can save it up and for something bigger. Do you know what I mean? And it's just like, it allows us to teach them about money too, because you and I are in a space where, like, I get so much PR that it's like my kids were just, like, expecting stuff at this point. And I'm like, it was confronting. I was like, you guys are spoiled, and that's on me. That's on me. That's not them. They're just like, I get mail. They're like, oh, is it for us? I'm like, no, it's not. It's my period underwear. Leave me alone.
My husband got Manscaped is sponsoring the podcast, and so I'm like, my husband never gets shit. Like, thank you, Jillian Harris, for sending my husband some of the Joe Fresh line. Like, he got a shirt last week. This week he got a shaver from Manscaped. I was like, you go, like, here, this is for you. He's like, finally. It's always stuff for Milo and me.
That's so true. Ryan's the same. We just had, like, Henson sponsored our podcast, so he got all these razors, and then Psycho Bunny sponsored us last year, and so we got all this Psycho Bunny stuff, and he was like, this is my time. Oh my god. So
I love it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that I'm slowly changing with the kids just as they get older. Also with the podcast too, like, we are very careful now with what we talk about. Like, we have to ask Riley if there's something specific we would talk about, because if you listen to our early episodes, like, we are full blown, like, we tell some very personal stories about the kids, but it's more in relation to, like, how we dealt with it as a parent. But as they get older, I never, ever, ever want somebody to hear an episode or hear something and then use that to not bully Riley or whatever. But that's a question that we have to think about as they get older. So we're pulling back a bit on that as they get older. But we're pretty honest with them. And if they don't like something, we just say, all right, no worries. Like, we'll delete it. We'll do better.
Yeah. So your decision to pause the podcast, what was that all about? I mean, I can totally relate. Like, I have had those moments as well. So how is that going for you guys so far?
Okay, so let's back up. We went to Hawaii in April, May for Riley's cheer. We were lucky enough to go to Hawaii, and it was incredible. One of the best things about when we were there is that Hawaii is a 6-hour time change difference. So we could not work. Like, we weren't able to communicate. Like, it was just full blown attention to the kids. And that's important to know. So amazing trip. We get back. Ryan and I are playing catch up because obviously, like, we missed a bunch of stuff, and Cooper's kind of off and the kids are off. And one night Cooper says, like, Ryan says, what's the matter? And Cooper finally is like, I really miss Hawaii. And we're like, we know, like, obviously everybody misses Hawaii.
Palm trees.
Friggin' beautiful. And he says, no, like, I miss you guys in Hawaii. Like, you guys always played with us. You guys were, like, just with us. You weren't on your phones. You weren't working. You weren't podcasting. Oh my God. Fucking, like, stabbing us in the heart. And we kind of just listened, and then we took a beat and unpacked that, like, later for Ryan and I. And we were like, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing? We had done this podcast for 4 years. and we released an episode every single day, every single week. Never missed an episode. And I think we were kind of just like, we don't ever want it to get to a point where we're like resenting this, because we truly love doing it. Like, it was a form of therapy for us. We could reconnect. We could laugh. It was a creation shift for us. It was so much fun. But we were getting to a point where we were like, oh man, we got to record an episode. Like, it wasn't becoming like a priority because we had so much other shit in our lives that we were building. So we just said, like, what's important to us right now? And it's our kids. They're not going to be this young forever. They're not going to want to play with us forever. And so that's very important to us. And we said, we're going to put a pause because it's something that we can return to if we need to. We also had like 2 other businesses that we put on a pause because we were running at all cylinders and just not being present enough. So we were getting it before it got to a place where we were resenting it. So, yeah, it was hard. Yeah. It was really hard, and we do miss it. But I will tell you, haven't thought about it. Like, and I think that's just because we are moving, so we've been very preoccupied,
very busy.
But yeah, I miss talking with Ryan. Like, we miss laughing because we laughed a lot on that podcast. But it's just it's a nice little break for us to just be more focused.
So you've noticed a big difference?
Oh yeah, it's for sure. I mean, you know how much goes into a podcast. Like, it's stupid. It's so stupid. So. Yeah, we're really, really trying to just be more present in places that we can be. So
I think people don't realize because a lot of people start podcasts.
Yeah.
And I don't think people realize how much work it is. And also, like, comparative to, because it's usually content creators that'll start a podcast.
Yeah, for sure.
Comparative to social media brand deals and jobs that we would do through social media, it's not lucrative at all.
Oh my God. And that's just it. We were like,
it's so much work. And it's so like, for what?
And I think people don't understand because they're like, oh my God, all these people are sponsoring you. Like, it's not what
not a lot
people
of money.
think it is. Yeah. So it's like, we're like, okay, you know, if we're doing something, we're building a business and it's lucrative and we're monetizing it and we're saving and making money for our family, cool. We'll figure it out. And we were like, well, like, it's something that we can pause and it's not going to affect our financial livelihood. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because really, like, we did it as a hobby. It was not something that we were ever relying on financially to support the income of our house. Because you're right. People have no idea that the sponsorships are so low. They're pennies compared to other platforms. So you really got to love podcasting to continue it because it's really hard to monetize, like really, really hard.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's funny. And I love that people always say anyone can have a podcast. Absolutely. I think it's more, can you stay consistent with your podcast, right? Because then people are like, holy shit, this is a lot of work.
I know.
You're like, yeah, it is. Crazy.
Okay, let's talk. It's so funny. Do you know Nikki Marie?
Yes, I love Nikki.
Oh yeah, so I was on her podcast. We just recorded yesterday.
I love
and she was like, oh, I want to ask you these quick questions. And I was like, okay. And the topics were so good. And I was like, oh, I'm going to ask Britt about the same kind of things.
God, you didn't pre-warn me.
So it's nothing crazy. Don't worry. There's no preparation involved.
All right.
Have you heard of boo baskets?
Yes.
Thoughts?
What are my thoughts on boo baskets?
I had never heard this term before. I was like, what is this?
I've heard of them, but I also did boo baskets before they were like called boo baskets.
Like, so, for your kids.
Yes. But like, I also am like maybe not like religiously, but I fucking love Halloween. So anything that is revolving around Halloween, I will jump on board. I think it's gotten a little batshit, to be honest, in terms of like what people are giving their kids for boo baskets. And this kind of relates to like every holiday. There's like, people go so ham, cheese and turkey for everything that
Easter,
I'm like,
Valentine's,
God.
Like all the things. Yeah.
Like, my parents never did that, but my mom always made every holiday special with like some sort of like decoration that she made or like cookies. Like, it was a lot of like involvement in crafts and stuff. So when I do those things for the kids, like we just did like a mini Halloween party. I love those with the kids, and it's all revolved around like creating and like making shit. So it's less of like
an activity.
Yes, because at the end of the day, I want to spend time with them. I want to do shit with them. Or I do one like, and they get to do it with their friends. Like it's creating. It's not like material things, if that makes sense. So I like them, but I'm like, I think we all just need to chill the fuck out a little bit.
Is Ryan, my understanding of a boo basket, like you can make them for your kids, but it was that like your significant other would be giving you a boo basket.
What? Sorry. Yeah. Ryan's supposed to give me a boo basket?
Yeah, because that's why it's called boo. Like, hey, boo.
I thought they were for kids. Like, I thought you were talking about like boo.
No. Yeah, Stop. Well, I am talking about boo.
I'm like, this whole time, I'm like, yes, Halloween, boo. And you're like, no, I mean like Kelly Rowland, my boo. What the fuck? If Ryan ever made me a boo, no, that would be so weird. Although his like love language is acts or is gifts. Like he would do that.
So is my husband.
Yeah. He'd be like, here you go. And then I'd be like, thank you. And he'd be like, would you like to do some other things physical? Would you like to give me a boob basket? Yeah,
so weird. If his love language, okay, we were just talking about this. Yeah. His love language is definitely like acts of service and gifts.
Okay.
Like 1,000%. How does Ryan, because I asked my husband, I'm like, okay, like that's how you show love. Like, right. How do you expect me to show you love? And he was like, gifts.
Physical touch. Oh, really?
He wants gifts.
Really? Oh, wow. Yeah. Ryan receives love in physical touch all day, every day. And I take quality time.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how do you want?
Acts of service all day,
acts of service.
Every day, all of the things, acts of service and quality time. Like I need to spend time with Ryan outside of business because we work together in so much capacity that like we need to not be the entrepreneurs and like connect on a deeper level, or we fight. Like we're not in a good space when we know we haven't connected. We're like very cold with each other.
So how do you guys connect? Like what do you guys do? Like do you guys spend time like after the kids go to bed? Like because I always find Milo goes to bed and then we're like, oh, let's watch a show.
I know. It's so hard to fall into that. We really try. For the longest time, we were doing alternative, like every other week date night. Okay. And then we would do like, in between those every other week date nights, we would have like, I would have a night where I'd hang out with my friends and then he'd hang out with his friends. So we were all kind of like balancing, but like gets in the way. We try to book a date night, even if it's just going for a drink or dinner or something, minimum once a month. Because we like out of the house. And this is so important for us because we both work from home. Yeah. And I'm so with you. After the kids go to bed, we fall into the like, what show should we watch? Like right now we're watching Dexter. Ryan's never seen it. What a psychopath. So I'm rewatching it with him. Also a psychopath. we're rewatching it. But then I'm like sleeping at like 9:03 because I'm on the couch. And like, so it's really important for us to get out of the house, because it changes the environment and it allows us not to be parents because we're in the house, and it allows us not to be a business owner because we're not in our office. So we just try to connect outside of the home, and we say like we give ourselves usually the commute to wherever we're going to discuss work, because we both have to like talk about our day from work on the way there, and then we say shut the fuck up, we're not talking about that. If you do, you have to do a shot. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, it's important. We have to do date nights. I think that it's so easy to put your spouse on the back burner because you know that they'll forgive you. But how much and how many times can you do that until it's compounded and you're both like, do we still like each other? Like, you know. So that's just important for us to do.
What's your favorite date night? Is it dinner?
I mean, I like to eat. No, I would say, like if it's just a regular date night, or if it's like doing something. Ryan and I really like dinner for sure, but we also love the movies. Like
I love going to the movies too.
And we used to do it all the time before kids. It's so hard to do it, right? It's so hard, but we love a little dinner and the movie type thing. Absolutely.
Do you go to like the VIP?
Yes.
I refuse to go to a theater where the seats don't lay flat.
We're like, this is like for peasants when we're in like a regular theater.
I'm like, what do you expect me to do? Just sit and watch a movie?
Basically on the floor. Yeah, we love the movies. Absolutely love the movies. We we also try to do like every once in a while, like I'll say, okay, I'm in charge and we'll do something different. Like just kind of search something that's not like our usual.
Okay, you know what I feel is super underrated?
What?
Daytime dates.
Oh, so good. We love a good lunch.
We're always like, why don't we just ask a babysitter to come for like 4 hours on a Sunday afternoon and we can go walk around the mall and do what we used to do before we had a kid. Like go for lunch, walk around the mall, like stop in at Walmart. Like,
and it's such a different like time for the kids too with the babysitter because you can do more things if you're going to the park or it's like daytime outside. That's a really great idea. We do lunch dates because kids are in school. So it's like we also don't have to get a babysitter because the kids are in school. So I love a good lunch date, and we are fortunate enough to like be in the same space that we can do that. I will say sometimes it's really hard because anytime I say date night, someone's always like, "Well, it must be nice to be able to get a babysitter," and I don't have a village. And we're so grateful and lucky that we have parents. Like my parents live close, and we have babysitters. However, a lot of people don't have that option. So I will say. If you need a date night, you need just to be intentional. Like if your date night is after the kids go to bed, we're putting on a movie. Okay. Say that's what you do, or you're putting on Netflix. You have to say tonight we're having a date night and you're going to make it different than every other. Yeah. Let's just throw Netflix on. So whether that's like you're making a special cocktail for you guys, maybe you guys are gonna, I don't even know, like a game beforehand, whatever. It's just so easy to just become routine like Netflix and then you fall asleep and then you go to bed. Like intentionally make that your date. And sometimes that is our date. We're like, we just watched that friggin' movie, Gerald's Game. We're like, we're going to watch it. And it was like, it was a vibe. It was fucking terrifying, but it was a vibe.
Yeah. Alex and Shane are really good at home date nights.
Yes.
Like she'll actually get dressed and like, you know,
so
like they
sweet.
do a date night. They'll order in food and have like mocktails or whatever. And I'm like, wow, that's...
I love that. I think it's important. It's also like, I think we also understand that we're all really tired. So if you can't make that work, don't worry about it. But if you can, every once in a while, it definitely sets the tone differently. If you're getting dressed up and you feel great. So.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know how Boo Baskets turned into that.
We both talk so much. Like. Can you
Remember
imagine
at book club? It's like
I was just gonna say we're discussing a podcast for the book club. Are you fucking kidding? No one's gonna get a word in.
I know. Oh my god, it's crazy. Okay, what is your go-to coffee drink?
I'm not like a bougie coffee person. I just like regular coffee.
Straight up.
I wish I could drink it black. I cannot. I just drink it black coffee with like silk vanilla creamer. Oh. And if I go and get like a fancy coffee, I get an Americano misto with coffee nut syrup. Is that what you get?
That's my new thing. Ariana told me about it.
Yeah, that's the only like special drink. If we go to Starbucks, that's my drink. Like I don't drink anything else.
See, I used to always get lattes, and then one day I was with Ariana, and she was like, she got an Americano misto, and I'm like, well, what the hell is that? And it's basically a latte, but instead of it being so milky, it's like half hot water, half milk.
Yeah. Because I find the other one, like when it's so overwhelmingly milky, I'm like, this is tea.
Yeah, it doesn't taste like coffee enough.
Right. Yeah. I'm so glad. I love the mistos.
Are you still working out?
I'd love to say yes.
It's so hard, isn't it?
But I walk. I love my walking pad. I was going real hard in the summer because I
remember you were doing those like 45-minute like super hard classes.
Those, the yoga and stuff. And I also have like, we had a little gym here in our town that does classes. And so I was going. I need someone to hold me accountable. So I really like classes. Otherwise I won't go. It's hard. Home workouts are hard for me because I loathe working out. But I love it after. Yeah. Like I can't. So I'm a big walker. I do love to walk. I wake up early in the morning and I walk and then I read. So it's a nice little, keeps me active. Could I be doing more? Yes.
So you go for a walk in the morning, like when it's dark out?
I walk on my walking pad.
Okay.
Because Ryan, I did in the summer, but Ryan is also, Ryan wakes up at like 5:15, 5:30 and he goes for a walk outside. So I obviously have to stay home with the kids. So I just walk on my walking pad and I watch like a trashy TV show. And it just goes by so quick. It's fabulous.
Wow. I'm going to the gym after we record this. And okay, my big motivation to go to the gym is that they have a steam room and a sauna. So I do that after I usually do the treadmill, and then like I just need to build muscle, so I'll do weights. But yeah, the steam room, oh, it's like heavenly.
Is it? I'm thinking I might join Movati once we move.
That's what it is. I go to Movati.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, because it's probably the closest gym for me. It's about 20 minutes. But like, I need to join a gym because I have to be like, well, you're paying for this, so you better go. Otherwise, I'm like, meh. I could just watch.
How do you manage, or do you? This is the biggest, like the bane of my existence, is like meal prep and what to have for dinner and that bullshit. I hate it so much. I hate it. If I won the lottery, I would hire a chef.
Personal chef. Do you like cooking?
Hate it.
So
damn you.
I feel like.
How do I love it?
I think it just also just depends on like how you grew up. Like,
okay, I just had a revelation.
Oh.
I think I don't enjoy cooking because I don't give a shit about food.
Okay.
In my mind, being hungry is just fucking annoying. I'm like, I just want to eat something so I'm not hungry. Like, my husband doesn't understand why sometimes for dinner, I'm like, I'll literally just have a bowl of Cheerios. Like, I don't fucking care. I just don't want to be hungry.
Fair. That's fair. And especially, that tells me that, like, you're not eating enough because you're getting to a point where you're so hungry that you're like, I need to eat something right now and I don't have time or the mental capacity to like think about what I'm going to make.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I hate thinking about it. I hate prepping. I hate everything.
Why don't you do like, have you tried like any meal plan? Like Factor is really good.
I want to try Factor because you don't have to cook it, right? See, the other ones, they're helpful because it's like, well, this is what you have to make and it's planned out for you, but you still have to make it.
Yeah. HelloFresh or, we did HelloFresh years ago with the podcast, but Factor sponsored the podcast and like sent us a bunch of stuff and they're great. Like Ryan, there's so many options too. Like many options.
I'm ordering.
And you should look into Inspire Go. I wanted to work with them, but they don't ship out to where we're moving to. And they're all
Inspire Go?
Inspire Go. It's all salads and like bowls and they are incredible. And I'm so upset that I can't order them.
Where are they based out of?
I think like GTA. They would come to Guelph.
Oh my God.
Like literally like full blown like noodle bowls, salads, like every different kind of salad you could think of. They're amazing. Like I'm so upset that we
Oh my God. Factor sponsor me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Seriously, like this is like the bane of my existence. But so how do you manage it? Do you guys like plan on Sundays what you're going to do for the week?
Ryan can't cook. He's a terrible cook. But also I don't cook for Ryan because Ryan eats a lot of meat and I'm like, no.
I don't know why I did that. Like Ryan can't cook. Dump him.
Oh my God, that was so funny. So I typically cook, I'll cook a couple dinners for us midweek if I've got the time. Right now, Ryan just got some health updates and he needs to like change some things. So he's trying to adapt to like a Mediterranean diet type thing, except he hates fish, so it's not going well. But there's a lot of recipes he can't eat. Like I just made us like baked eggplant and he ate the whole thing. Ryan's like, if somebody makes it, I will eat it. You know what I mean? But he would never know how to make it, nor would he want to. For me, I would say like I do try to meal prep. I wouldn't say necessarily every Sunday, but I do meal prep lunches because I am notorious for like, it's like 2:00 and I'm shaking because I've had 4 coffees, 0 water and nothing to eat.
Yeah.
And if I don't pre-make it, I just get so caught up with other things. Yes. And I
don't want to stop to make something.
I know. So it's super important. I just make myself like little Lunchables. And they're the best. So yeah, just honestly Sunday, put in a podcast or put on a show and just like make a bunch of lunches. I think that's something that you can start with and it's not so daunting because you're only making like 5 or 6 and like there's so many things you can make. Like I make a ton of like egg salad, a ton of like rice and like that kind of shit. And then dinner time, I like to cook, so I kind of just go with whatever I have. But I don't like prep out my week. I wish I was that nice. I wish. I'm just not. Not. I wish I was that person that says like, tonight we have chicken cordon bleu and tomorrow. Like that's not me.
I know. Yesterday we had a prepared lasagna from Costco. It was actually really good. And Milo's like, I want noodles. I'm like, well, lasagna is noodles. It's just a little bit different. And he's like, no, I want different noodles. And I finally like put my foot down. I'm like, we're having lasagna for dinner.
Yeah.
I know he likes it, but he like takes a little piece of noodle and he's like, I don't like it. Yeah. I'm like, yes, you do.
It's control.
Okay. Anyways, it ended up, he didn't eat it. Mm-hmm. He didn't eat anything. He ended up like being a nightmare, and I brought him to his room, and it was like this whole thing, and I was like, oh my God, that's never happened. But like he stayed in his room.
Yeah.
From 7 p.m. and then just ended up going to bed. He was like listening to his Yodo. So like,
you know what? Like that's what we did when we were young. Like my parents made food, and if I was like, I don't like this, they'll be like, have fun going to bed on an empty stomach, bitch. Well, they didn't say that, but like that's the thing is how I felt.
If it was like we made like a spicy chicken curry or something, like, okay, I get it. It's fucking lasagna. You like it.
Yes. It's a control thing. Like my kids do that too. But also like my kids they have like a thing of five things. They'll eat like 5 things on rotation. And I'm like, this is a problem.
Is that stressful?
It's so stressful. They're like so picky with eating. Like it's so hard to make their lunches. Like so hard.
Yeah, I feel like we're always giving the same thing. Like they make the bulk of the lunch at school. Like they have a meal plan
that's
thing.
Amazing. I'm
so we just send snacks, but it's like always the same thing.
The way I signed up for pizza and sub day so fast.
Yeah.
But oh my God. And like back when we had like pizza day, like don't you remember when we were kids? Like the difference is my mom made our lunch, and like my mom made good lunches. Like there were a lot of things in our lunch, and Ryan's like, I got 1 sandwich and a single apple. Like that was what we got. And now we're like, here are the 5 food groups. Yeah. And you know what I mean? I don't do that, but I do give them a variety because they're so freaking picky.
I remember my lunches in high school being like Nutella sandwich.
Ooh, delicious.
Joe Louis.
Oh my God, flaky.
Maybe like a chocolate milk.
100%.
And like everything was just like chocolate flavored. Yeah. Yeah. And I'm
also,
still alive.
Like, getting to high school, our cafeteria, oh my God, they used to have like the best pizza.
Panzerotti.
Oh my God, French fries. Like, it's delicious. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yum, yum, yum. Okay, before I let you go,
yes,
I would like you to give a spooky, because it's October.
Oh my God.
A spooky book recommendation.
Okay.
And a spooky movie recommendation for the listeners.
Okay. A spooky book recommendation. How spooky? Like
all out.
Okay. I would say spooky book recommendation would be Home Before Dark by Riley Sager.
Okay. Can you say a little bit about what it's about?
Yeah. I also, no. Okay. So the premise of Home Before Dark is this woman, she restores old homes. Okay. So she goes back to her childhood home and she goes to restore it. The book flops from present day of her doing that to back in the day. Her family fled one night, left all of their shit, did not bring anything. And it goes back to that night a bunch of times. Her dad,
when she was a child, they fled the house?
Right. And her dad then capitalized off that night and wrote a horror book and became famous about this paranormal experience. And she's like, it was bullshit. My dad capitalized off something that didn't happen. There's an explanation for everything. So she goes back to the house. Her dad has since passed, but she goes back to the house and wants to restore it and just be put this kind of behind her. And her mom is like, do not go back there. And she was like, Mom, it's fine. And so she goes back there, and that's all I'm going to say. There's some stuff that starts happening, but I need to say this without giving it away. It is what you think, and it is not what you think. There's a lot of very big twists and stuff that happen in this book. I love these kind of books, and I actually was reading it when I was in Saskatchewan. I was speaking at an event. I was by myself. And I couldn't read it. I was like, nope, not tonight. But it's so good. It's such a good book. Really, really good. Riley Sager's a really good author. Okay, and then show
or movie, yeah.
There's so many. Well, I would definitely recommend Jared's Game because we just watched it, and it was really, really well done. And it's a Stephen King book. So if you like that kind of thing, I would say Gerald's Game. And any any like The Haunting of Hill House.
We have to watch that. I've never seen that. But tell the premise of Gerald's Game. Just
really,
like the
I just told you. You want me to say it again? Okay.
Oh yeah, because the listeners. Remember,
Gerald's
this is a
Game
podcast.
Is about a couple who goes back to their lake house to rekindle their marriage, and they go there, and the husband decides to get handcuffs so they can spice up the bedroom, and handcuffs his wife to the bedposts, and unfortunately he has a heart attack and dies. The rest of the movie is about the wife trying to escape because she's handcuffed to this bed that cannot move, and she doesn't have any food. She doesn't have any water. So she really has to be intentional with how she gets out. And she's also delulu because she's so like parched and completely not in her right space. So she's talking to her dead husband ghost, and they're talking whatever. But it does flip back to her childhood trauma that is also relevant to today. And nighttime comes, and it's really scary.
Scary.
Yeah, it's really scary.
Spooky
super
too.
Super good though.
So would you read the book? You said it's a book.
I would have read the book had I not seen the movie. I just can't. I can't do that. I can't go back. Like if I would have read it before, then yes. But I just feel like it's so weird because now the movie has set up what the characters look like. I'm expecting shit. I just can't do it with any book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. Do you guys already have your Halloween costumes picked out?
No, this month is killing me because I don't have any of my stuff because we're moving. The kids have theirs, but like I haven't done any Halloween stuff, and I'm just dying inside. So, do you? Aww. What are you doing?
I think Milo will be a Ninja Turtle, but I feel like I should be something matching him, so I might be a Ninja Turtle. Like
Shredder, probably.
Yeah, perhaps.
Should be Shredder. Cooper's being Deadpool. Riley's being a blow-up, massive version of the Oogie Boogie Man from Nightmare Before Christmas.
Okay, like one of the inflatable things?
Yes, it's massive.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I love her for that. She's like, yeah, I don't give a shit. I'm going to be warm.
It's like hot air blowing in.
Yeah, she's like the best. Anyways,
I love
this is so fun.
Yes, thanks for coming on. Tell people where they can find you online if they don't already follow you.
You can find me at Britt.Ostofe on Instagram, TikTok. You can go to Laughing Couple for more different content with me and Ryan. You could re-listen to our old podcast because we stopped that. But yeah, that's about it.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much.
Toodaloo.